Good morning, folks. It's 9:40 a.m. on the first month, 27th day, 2025. What I'm looking here is at some of the conservative totals for the Can corridor over the next 36 hours. You're in for what looks like to be quite a rough time as I'm watching a geoengineering monster being generated just south of Can there. Cans. Okay, so I'll show you that. And this here, like I said, those were conservative totals. I wasn't trying to alarm you, but this is quite possible. The tendril parked offshore is currently being held up by a big beam going off the coast. And if that beam hadn't swept the direction it did, you would have all of that probably all the way through to Ravens Hole and through here as we're looking at some of the big totals that are going to come inland during this event. Yes, this is a very serious thing. Up to a meter of water is coming, and it's time for me to tell you to get in your arcs. If you're in this area here, make sure you're ready, make sure you're aware, make sure you're knowledgeable about what happens in your area during these type flooding events as you are about to be subjected to the Agenda 2030 geo range. And the geostorms are they're raging across you guys today. If I zoom back, you'll see some of the 10-day totals. You're one of the highest ones in the entire planet that I could find so far. Even Tango and Vanuatu ain't going to contend with what the far north Queensland is. The FNQ is effing fucked. Yeah, that's not good, not good at all. So I'm going to go through some of this. I'm going to look at some of the chem that's being involved in the making of this storm. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just roll through axis here, and I'm going to leave the pressure and the particle animation on. I know some of you it's harder data wise to load, but it's more efficient, so you can see where the splits and the flow are. And they generated this right now is going on. It's a really thick tendril has been wicked into the air. And let me see if I can pause this here, so you can see just how much water is here. It fell like that there. It's over a centimeter an hour, man. That's a lot of rain, and some of this will blow in the wind inland and still fall on your house, even though the cloud is not over the top of you. So you're going to have to just be vigilant. The time to go to the store is nearly at an end. Right, I don't want to see any emergency workers being put in danger because you're having a craving for an ice cream or a pack of cigarettes you could do without. Right, come on, let's think about our safety workers. This is where the knowledgeable comes in and awareness of the ARK. You're gonna make sure you know it, local information. So you'll go to somebody else and ask, "Am I going to be okay?" You're going to determine that with local information. Don't you ever put that on me. You see that tendril coming over this island here? It's a belter. And it's coming through on Wednesday early in the morning hours. It's going to come across from Innisfail down the coast here. Yeah, this ain't good, man. Not good at all to see this whole tendril's been parked over the top of you. If I over here at Mimic, you see a few lines here. I'll go ahead and run this as you can see this beam here. You're going to see a few of them. There's a V that comes down and there's one that comes up. And this one here, almost all this water's coming in two batches towards Queensland. And this from here over is coming right now. Right now. It's all being directed with EMF. So I'm going to go back to that frame I had. That should be sufficient. And let's do that markup thing that seems to explain things a lot better. More visibly, should I say. I didn't even look to see if this is running yet. I'll do that in a moment. Right, we got a ship parked right where I'm pointing, right there. Okay. So we got a V coming down. We got a V coming off that's a less of an angle here. Now the river of moisture has just been trapped in that spot. That's trapped. And this is coming up and around. It's going to influence these islands here, really bury the Vanuatu area, quite a lot of water that's common. The second V split is there. These are your two tendrils, two big batches, and they can work in them there very fast. I saw a ship here earlier. I'm making a move at pushing moisture in that direction to make it past this island here. The tip of that Penis Insula over of Pappy over there. And another V of moisture has been put here with the lines like a syringe to bring all that water down. And where is this all conversion on? Capricorn Coast, far north Queensland. You guys are really in Fubar here. So I hope that shows you a bit of how and these big beams are holding stuff off. I didn't show you this one's the one that went all the way up the coast here. From down here all the way up. And it looks like to be a large NEXRAD beam and not a military jarring device. You see a beam there zoomed up? So, you know, we're keeping an eye on these tendrils, but I told you last week I had a big concern because all these conditions were right for this, and I've just been waiting on the beads to tell me where everything is going on. So as we continue in here through Wednesday night, it's been relentless. It's been torrential. It's been tired of you. You're going to get so tired of this being here, right? It's turning cyclonically really slowly in this direction here. The winds, they're not hugely fierce, right? It's almost doldrum, right? Because it's caught in an eddy of EMF, and so it has no other reaction to do but to spin that slight low. But that slight's going to turn a bit different, as you'll end up having what looks like a full-fledged cyclone coming off your coast and headed towards the New Zealand area. Yeah, we'll have two of them farming, one over here right about here, and another one right about here, and I'm expecting them to dance. They could form here and here, so I'm expecting two of them, two cyclonic systems to form as we get into February. You see that up and around, right over the top of you, Port Villa and all this? We're going to be watching for you on the very first day of the month. Don't let that Groundhog Day repeating of disasters happen without you at least having some of your belongings. Yeah, thank you, there, lying Ukrainian thief. Yes, that particular picture. I have a big opinion on how I can show you clouds that say there was not one burning building in Kiev when they said it was attacked, or the other 5 cities. I've never picked up war there. I can pick up smoke very easy on satellite image, and people north and west of Melbourne have some smoke probably on their horizon in the sunset, really making things look crimson as a huge area is being burned over there with very suspicious distances, and I have them already pulled up on my asshole worldview. Look at that can. They just held that sucker up and they're giving you another batch on Sunday the 2nd. That's why these totals are going so high. See that tendril there? Ouch. Yeah, that's the holy shit, man. That's like 17 centimeters every 3 hours, right? That's close to 6 centimeters of rain an hour, close to it. In this tendril here. It's coming in a hammer front, so I know it's going to do some damage. And how far inland this walks will be decided by the, you see that in this fail? So you guys, once the first batch goes by, I don't think you're out of the woods. I wonder what the winds were in that day, because we're pulling a 979 pressure. Should have winds in the 30-mile-an-hour range. You have 40s and 50s. It's going to feel... That's close enough to go hurricane. Right, this is close. You very well may have what they're going to tell you is a tropical cyclone off the coast of Cairns. Hey, boo, you missed it by a week. Well spotted with the conditions. Yeah. We challenge our minds by putting down and writing what we think is going to happen. And so I do say, well seen. It's very possible that thing's going to camp out quite a few days over the top of you there. So very, very bad situation developing for the Can-Can corridor between Townsville and Cairns. Come on, grab that thing. I'm trying to get this to do right. Okay, let's do this like this. I want the totals. All right, we want from that day to that day. So let's see what they say is coming ashore. So just between the period of the first of the month, this will be when your first of the month. Your first of the month starts here. And we're talking the end of the month time, they're being just as disastrous. So we're swelling the streams with the first batch over the next few days. And then they're killing the dreams. Oh my God, these poor folks. My heart is going out to them. Absolutely. This is hard to even show. Hard to even show. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue for today. I think I might be getting upset too much. I'm going to start a swearing fest. There you go, Townsville. Have to smack her. So she says she's going inland. Will you, Putin, get any relief? Will Mackay see the tendril? It has to. That sucker's just held with a beam. Look at the flows here. This is headed that direction. That's headed that direction. All these are splitting here. Let's say they're planning a beam. So they're already showing you what the geo moves are going to be needed to maintain this particular forecast. Absolutely horrendous. Let's look at some of the radar from today, because I had some really wicked storms that were proceeding over here. Yeah, that's still a nasty lane. Here it is going to be just pulling right over Cowan over here. You see the V shape to it? And so most of the water is easy to squeeze out to sea. So you guys got some still a couple hours ahead for these storms to be influencing your areas. Went through the outskirts of all of Sydney, got a bit of wet. Is it moist there too? The other Liverpool signs are getting fried. You see that beam coming out from over here? Getting fried in the other Liverpool. Yeah, I see you, you suckers. None of these look particularly tornadic. But we do have the cold and the hot mixing just right, and your sun's going down. So whatever catalyst they put in the sky tonight, it's going to determine the lightning show that you get. And so just be vigilant. Now, I'm not seeing any of these particularly tornadic. This cell here is spinning a bit. But you see the weakening of it here as it hit the sea? Yeah, so it's catching the ions of that's being moved towards a different system. That looks like she's dying. See that there? As it's going over right now over the Glenrock State Conservation Area. The conserve area. Is that like some kind of a jam or something? A conserve? Like making jam? I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive when I'm seeing where some of my friends live in areas that they might be losing their houses. It's hard to show. The beam is on over there just outside Tamworth. We seen that Grafton was blasted. Guilty Grafton. As always, beaming it up. Did you see how the top is flat? That's going to allow a bit more flow inland there just north of and fuel some winds. Woodburn and all this out here, Casino. So we'll be watching for you to get a little bit of chemtrail action, I imagine, as they're starting to hold the storm north. They're going to have a lot of energy in the atmosphere down here to make sure that doesn't go too south. First thing I noticed when I look back on this image here is signs of electromagnetic frequencies. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry, so sorry. It's my pen, and I'll show you what I see straight off. How do I know this is common there? See a scalar square here? Inside that, you got another one, and another one. Right? I'll look over here, I got another one. Where's your flow boundary? Right through here. See these chem bombs right here? It's not all done with EMF. Those are bombs. See the dots? This image is still available. You can go get your own capture of this. That's the first things I look for, is these scalar squares and what direction are they turning. Even in the center of this isn't a round supercell. It's square with another rectangles in it. And a big blast of God only knows what. You can't see this from the ground because it's all fogged up. It's all whited out. You don't see you got pretzel drawn there. Or is that skeleton head? See that there? See that one there? Those are chem bomb deployments. And this is the outflow boundary line here. So they can move this differently. See the curves? Those will head south. See the curve? See that V? This is a boundary. That sucker's coming along this coast, and this big beam came up through here. There's nowhere for it to go. We must say no to the geoengineering that I just randomly, that just came up on the map. No! Kind of a thing. And so I can roll through this and you can see, look how much distance is covered. I mean, this is almost all the way over to Fiji, this one chemtrail line. That wouldn't be a short flight. It'd be about 3 hours, maybe 4. See the inland flow here? That's that pin line I was talking about. You see all these bombs that have been blown up right here? Look in that one area right there. You can see they've blown it up. You can see the chemical catalyst put in the sky that's setting up the disaster for this area. I'm going to change the title of this video. I want to make sure people are safe. Look how many V's of moisture you have here. What direction is that flow going? This whole thing sets up a big V. But meanwhile, you got a V here. So all this is individual plumes. All this is plumes. Even in this very center of that last one I just went over. Oops, sorry about that. Look at that pretzel shape to that. Look at the square shape to the shadow. You gotta look. You see these storms out at sea, you see a curve, you go, oh yeah, that's a big supercell. But when you zoom in on it, you see square in the center. I know that's not the best color to pick. Let me correct that. See, that's a whole separate deployment. You see the tendrils. Look at this big deployment here. I'm sure you could mark this easy. See the square? See the lines pointing at a center of deployment area. They're pissing down our backs and telling us it's raining. Look at all the bombs over these little islands. This is not naturally occurring cloud formation. That is a fucking swastika. You're gonna deny that too? Idiots. If you can't see your nose to spite your face, and if you gonna bite your nose to spite your face, you gonna be one noseless motherfucker. Because I'll tell you what, I could smell death in the air from this one. The only thing missing now is the tiki Happy Australia Day. This is what they can do to you with the Paris Agreement. Must say no to the Paris Agreement. If you don't agree about the poisoning of our land being a bad issue, how about how much money it's going to cost you, Australia? You better bail on that while you can. Because our earth is not to be bought and sold. Our earth is not for us to be anything but a guardian of. Our earth, like this fire I'm going to show you here, with these dots being the same. How many times can that particular isosceles triangle be reproduced? Before you say, I think that's engineering, I think it's planned, I think Little Desert National Park is being deliberately burned. As I'm watching the Endangered Species Act laws of what was protected in the United States being thrown out so they could drill, 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 and rape, rape, rape my mother earth. You expect me to stay silent on that? Even these neighborhoods here around Perth, I gotta say, how you getting this distance? How is it that exact? So I'm watching. The wascally wabbit has come out of the wabbit hole. Now you can see this burn going on. It's very obvious. If I come down here, you'll see it. See that smoke all at once? That's pollution, man. That's a fire. See the EMF pin in the flow north? How are the winds being directed towards this fire? This EMF square here kind of says it all. Kind of says it all. Bzzz. The fryer is on back in Tassie. Look at this corner down here. Somebody says, is this near my house? I don't know. Do you live out here? That's the that's that big device they got here. Big super darn antenna. And it's totally controlling the flow towards the Southern Ocean down here. You see where that band is? All they gotta do now is put a band here, and that's coming up to visit you too, New Zealand. A lot of your weather for this week, New Zealand, is coming from up here. Some of these chem bombs will visit you later, like that big fart master here, sharting up the sky, or this big band of crap. Again, moving flow. And this time the V's are moved that way, so it's towards New Caledonia, towards Vanuatu, towards Port Phillip, which is also slated for some terrible totals. So you have been warned, you have been told. Look at the bombs out west. Isn't that horrendous? You don't think that's horrendous? I say, what the fuck is wrong with you? You see that looks like waves going across the top of these clouds? That's exactly what that is. Those are waveforms controlling the flow from the Great Australian Bight inland, because this flow here for these fires has got to be maintained and controlled as they're burning out my animals and my land. And I say, no more, no more. Are we the system's whore? And no more, no more. Are you going to take it, are you? No, because we'll change the laws and we won. We fought the law and we won. Big love. Stay safe. Peace. Best.